I've been in sales now for almost 30 years, and I have found that to be very true. I haven't said that way, but absolutely true. Absolutely true. I want to pivot for a second about generations. I'm a Gen Xer. All of my children are, well, my oldest is on the border of Gen Y and Gen Z, but my other two children are Gen Zs. And that seems to be a generation, the Gen Z, we'll just focus on that for a second. That seems to be one of the generations that almost hates selling, but they always love, they love living on purpose. So when they're passionate about a purpose, boy, they'll tell that story as if the greatest salesperson in the world is on that passion. How do you reframe, or how do you reframe people's thoughts on this in the generation about sales versus purpose? And because it seems like those are intricately connected.
They are. And in our leadership coaching, I'll kind of make the connection to sales is, we always ask somebody the first question in our 5-step process, what do you want? What does success look like to you? And so you ask any person of any age, they're going to have different answers to that because, right? And so in the younger generation, it's going to be about flexibility and friendship and a lot of the intangibles. And it's because they've watched people older than them, like, work nonstop their whole life and have nothing to show for it. They don't have relationships. They got poor health. And so why would I want to be like that? And then they come from a position where they don't really understand what selling is. And they do it all day.
Right.
They do it all day. They just don't do it. So we ask people, what does success look like to you? And then the second question is, well, why do you want that? Why is that important? And so we get to their why. And so the younger people are they're much more focused on the why and the purpose. And so then the follow-up question is, do you want to bring your friends with you?
Yeah. Everyone would say yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, well, then we got to represent something that speaks to your why and your purpose. And what's interesting, one of my friends and mentors, Rabbi Daniel Lappin, says that, when we solve a problem, we're often rewarded with a certificate of appreciation. We call that money.
Yeah.
And the more problems we solve, the more certificates of appreciation we receive.
I love it.
Now, he's an Orthodox rabbi. And so watch this final statement. He says, God is never happier with his children than when they're solving the problems of his other children.
Love it.
And so
true.
Whatever age and whatever you do, if you're truly solving the problems of other people, the certificates of appreciation are going to come.
Right.
And if your product or service can change somebody's life, then you have the moral responsibility to be as effective as you can be at that. And it has to be on an integrity foundation. As soon as they're not a fit, if there's a better product for them, or they're not right, or the timing's not right, and a salesperson of integrity, changes the direction of that relationship.
Tom, your comments there, I don't think you will know the impact of what it has to me, because in my moment in time in our business and personal life, it has a ton of weight and meaning. So as we build our relationship together, I will share as that journey, as what you said, plant seeds of fruit in my life. You and I have had some other discussions before this call about the things that our company does. And what we do, I happen to be privileged to run an organization that is focused on helping people become more financially healthy, physically fit, and having a lifestyle to enjoy those two. And as you're talking about leadership and sales skills, and then you're working with leaders of organizations as well, I find that several companies and even business leaders, period, neglect this one part of people's lives. They spend all of their lives going after this certificate of appreciation of which you just talked about, but they forget about one of the greatest gifts of any person's life is to present their bodies as what they call a tool to function in life, to deliver the highest level of service to people, and that's their health. and it's usually the last thing that's actually put attention to, and it's the first thing neglected. I'm young, I have time, etc. Um, Overwhelmingly, there is a connection between wealth and health. It's undeniable. So my question to you is, as you've done this several times, how do you see the connection to physical health and leadership effectiveness in an organization?
Yeah. So number one is the first sale you make is yourself. So people are buying you, right? And so our physical health is really important. And I'm going to go up even 50,000 feet, and I'm going to go kind of an umbrella question. Whether you're a parent or not, just I want you to put yourself as a parent. Do you want your kids to have the best chance for success?
Unequivocally, yes.
Yeah. Would you intentionally do anything that would diminish their chance for success?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Well, this is a great question. And everybody who listen to this, you can go put this in Chat GPT. Ask it, what would the return on investment be if every public school from K through 12 fed breakfast, lunch, and a snack to every student that was whole foods, non-processed based, no ultra processed? What would happen? And depending on the way you phrase that, the ROI will be anywhere from 7 to 15 times to 1. And then you ask it, well, why? And they say, well, IQ will go up, grade point average will go up, college acceptance will go up, long-term medical costs will go significantly down, behavior problems go down, bullying goes down, ADHD, all these different things. All the behaviors that are related to the food that we consume will go down. And this is all, you can ask it for the studies and the background and everything else.
Wow.
So if we're talking about health, I believe that our physical health either caps or unleashes our potential.
And give an example of that.
Well, let's just say you're eating the SAD diet, standard American diet, 60+% ultra processed, a lot of carbs, and not a lot of nutrition in it, and you're not exercising. Your brain doesn't work as well, right? It just doesn't. We've all had the low spot in the day. We're like, oh man, so what do we get? We get the Coke and we get the Twinkie, and we got a 20-minute spurt, and then we're worse, right? I mean, it's just that thing.
Right. And
so what's the greatest thing that we have that will allow us to be successful in every area of life? It's our thinking. It's our ability for our brain to do what God designed it to do. And so when we put toxins in, we actually cap our ability to be creative. And so there's geniuses who are in terrible shape. Yeah, but they're still capped. What could they be, right? And so that's what I mean. And then, we have the Ziglar wheel of life. There's 7 spokes on the wheel. And I teach it in a program and we go through the spokes sequentially in a very specific order. The mental, which is my thinking, what I choose to do. Then the spiritual, which is our faith and virtues and values and what we believe in. And then the third is physical. And then the fourth is family. And then we go financial, personal, and career. And career is last. But it's interesting because we go into the world and we got a rent payment and a car payment. And so we put all of our energy in the career.
Yep.
And we neglect those other 6. Now, the first 3, mental, spiritual, and physical, those are things we got to work on every single day.
Right.
It's like bathing, right? You got to do it every single day, right? And then family is the next one, because in order to lead our family, we've got to have we got to lead with the right example so we can give them the right influence. Yeah. So if we're taking care of ourselves mentally, spiritually, and physically, then we can lead our family. And then we go financial, and that's where the dreams start coming out, right? This is the inspiring mode. This is the thing that drives us, that makes us want to, go to that next level. And then we go personal. And that's the hobbies and things that enrich us. And then we go to the career. Well, what's the vehicle that's going to allow me to do those things? We had the number one issue facing large business today, like let's say the Fortune, 10,000 companies. The number one issue is the mental health and well-being of their people.
Wow.
Time off, people depressed, people on all kinds of drugs, people just burning out. And so here's the question. If mentally you were strong, right? You woke up with a great attitude, you went to bed at night, you had a great night's sleep. So spiritually, you don't know what the future holds, but you have faith that it's going to work out. You've got hope, right? You've got that peace of mind. Physically, you're working out, you're eating right, you're getting enough sleep, you're handling stress. Your family's your rock. They're there for you. You can come home and unload if you need to. And hey, I need some help, or I just had a hard day. You get the hug. And then financially, man, you've got clear-cut goals. You're not there yet, but you're making progress, right? Every dollar knows where it's supposed to go. And then you've got things that just fill your soul, and you schedule them. And then your career. So if those first 6 things are great, but work is going tough, and it's hard, and it's a season where you got to put in extra time. If those first 6 things are solid, are you going to burn out? No. But I tell you what, if work gets hard, the market changes, if people are waiting and seeing, and you got a physical problem and things aren't fun at the house and your mindset's in the dumper, you're burned, right? You don't have it. And so that's why the priority is this. And so when we hire people in a business, what's the first thing we teach them? We teach them the job skills.
Right.
Right. And then the next thing is we tell them this is how much effort it's going to take. We give them the work to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they struggle, we hit them over the head about their attitude. What if we reverse that? What if everything about bringing somebody on was creating the right attitude and mindset? Well, guess what? If I have the right attitude and mindset and the right goals and where I want to go, then you're not going to have to tell me the effort. You're not going to have to force me to learn the skills. I'm just going to do it. And so we get work backwards in two different ways, right? We start off young, we focus on the career. And so going back to the young person Gen Z thing is, think about it. If they grew up on a smartphone, social media, they have hundreds of thousands of more input than we did at the same age. And so they're really good at reading a mask. And so I do a lot of work with leaders, and the common question is, these young people, they're so entitled, they're so hard to lead. What's the deal with them? And I flip it and I say, no, they expect more, because they can tell a mask from a mile away because of their input. So when you earn their trust, then they jump in, right? But you got
to. Yeah, they're all in. You're right. They're all in when they're
all in. And they bring all their friends. Nothing more powerful than a 20-something all in, living their life on purpose for, their friends want that. Well, why would we come with you? Because these people are real.